Yes, Vice Mayor. I think we are good. Then I'll go ahead and I'll kick us off then. Thank you so much.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tempe City Council meeting in the Harry E. Mitchell Government Center. Item number one is call to order. Council meetings can be watched in real time via Cox Cable Channel 11 and at tempe.gov/tempe11. Members of the public may also attend the meeting virtually through Microsoft Teams. If you're here to speak on items designated as public hearing items later on in the agenda, please know that you will have an opportunity to speak when I introduce those items at the time of their public hearing. The City Council will need to complete the other items of business leading up to those items, so we appreciate your patience. If you wish to speak on a public hearing item and you haven't filled out a speaker card yet, please make sure to fill out and submit your completed card to the city clerk prior to the agenda item coming forward for council discussion. I will call your name when it is your turn for public comment. Just want to say thank you to the council this evening and Vice Mayor for helping me out. I'm actually right now in Idaho. I was honored to be part of a Rodell Institute Fellowship where I was nominated by Congressman Greg Stanton to be part of a group of 24 elected officials from around the country, 12 Republicans and 12 Democrats, talking about ways to better produce public policy and talk about how we can increase civility in politics. So I'm honored to be here and wanted to very publicly thank Congressman Stanton for this honor of nominating me. And so thank you, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to run the meeting, and thank you, Vice Mayor, for helping me tonight. With that said, I'm going to move forward to see if anyone who can stand and is able to join me in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Mayor, if you'd like to lead the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Tonight's agenda has a number of items that the City Council must consider in order to conduct city business. Guidelines for conduct at City Council meetings are on the table near the entrance for those in attendance at tonight's meeting. We will now play a video with the proper protocol for ensuring the appropriate conduct at City Council meetings.
The City of Tempe welcomes public comment at this time. Disruptive behavior will not be allowed. Continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. We need to be able to hear everyone in the room. Behavior that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any city council meeting is not helpful and is not permitted. This includes behavior both inside and outside of the council chambers. Should individuals inside the council chambers become disruptive so that city business is not able to be conducted, the mayor will first ask that the individuals allow city business to be completed. There will be time for public comment during the call to the audience portion of the meeting. If no cooperation, the mayor will issue a verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is still no cooperation, the mayor will issue a second verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is no cooperation after asking and 2 verbal warnings, then the mayor will ask security officers to remove only those individuals who are causing the disruption. Security personnel should not engage in any way, but only escort them from the council chambers. If individuals refuse to leave, security personnel shall warn them that they are trespassing and that the next step will be arrest by a Tempe police officer. Tempe officers may have to arrest if individuals refuse to leave. Charges for trespass and disorderly conduct may apply, as well as other charges. Should anyone be asked to be removed, the mayor will recess the meeting.
Thank you so much. We are now going to play a video conveying the City of Tempe's Native Land Acknowledgement Statement.
We wish to acknowledge that Tempe is the homeland of the Native people who have inhabited this landscape since time immemorial. These ancestral lands of the O'odham, known as Pima, Peeposh, known as the Maricopa, and their ancestors extend far beyond our city. This land continues to be spiritually connected to the O'odham of the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community and Gila River Indian Community. We accept the responsibility of stewarding those places and solemnly pledge to consider this commitment in every action.
Thank you so much. That takes us to item number 4, which is meeting minutes. Tonight, I will be assisted by Vice Mayor Adams. And I'll just say really quickly, too, for the council member that makes a second, would you please make the second and also raise your hand so I can actually see you at the dais? So, Vice Mayor.
I move to approve the city council meetings, item 4A1.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Adams and seconded by Councilmember Keating. Please vote. And Madam Clerk, I vote aye. And Councilmember Chin?
She's voted aye.
It's on there. It should be.
Okay.
It's on there.
It's
on-
not on my screen for some reason, but that's okay. Still, that brings that item then passes 6-0 with Councilmember Navarro absent. Next up, item 4B, acceptance of board, commission, and committee meeting minutes. Vice Mayor Adams.
Yes, I move to accept the board, commission, and committee meeting minutes, items 4B1 through 4B2.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Adams. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Hodge. Please vote. And Madam Clerk, I vote aye. That item also passes 6-0 with Councilmember Navarro absent. That brings me to item 5A, Mayor's Reports and Announcements. This evening, I have one announcement here. It's for Tempe Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. After this, I know that the Vice Mayor is going to lead the council down in front to get a photo. But the proclamation reads, whereas the safety and well-being of all Tempeans is the priority and highest calling for the City of Tempe and Tempe Police Department. And whereas we recognize the sacrifices made by law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line every day to protect our community, uphold the values we hold dear, and enforce the rule of law. And whereas law enforcement requires the ability to act courageously and quickly, make the right call in the face of imminent danger, and to act with empathy and compassion as one serves others in their time of greatest need. And whereas the City of Tempe and its residents are honored to stand by our dedicated law enforcement professionals, everyday heroes, and lend our wholehearted support to them as they continue to give themselves for the benefit of all. And whereas the City of Tempe encourages Tempeans to honor and show appreciation for the officers and professional staff of the Tempe Police Department, as well as active and retired law enforcement professionals residing in Tempe and the roles they play in the safety of our homes, businesses, schools, and the community as a whole. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare January 9th, 2024 as Tempe Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in Tempe, Arizona.
Very good. I think we're going to all go down for a photo.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Oh, you guys are totally on my way. Hey, congratulations.
Inside.
Whatever you say, I'll do.
That looks great, and Ryan right there. Squeeze that, Harley, let's have you come over here. And Randy and Dory, scooch them forward. There we go. All right.
I think you're safe.
Ryan, can I have you come around on this side for me? Love to, thank you.
Right.
There we go. That's better. That looks good. All right. Big smiles. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna do. 1, 2, 3, and the last one, big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Thanks, everybody. Congratulations. Yeah,
Congratulations.
congratulations. Great. Keep up the good work.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I didn't give you a hug. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Big virtual hug for me to all of my colleagues as well as the folks of the Tempe Police Department. Thank you for your service and commitment to our city. Before I move on to item 5B, Madam City Attorney, you had a correction you wanted to read into the record.
I do, yes, Mayor, please. This is on item 8A2. It's a miscellaneous item, and what is here is a clerical error that I need to correct. There is absolutely no correction involved in the total amount of the contract, but the distribution of the funding for it needs to be as follows, please. The sum of $37,499,509 from the funding source 6711269. The sum of $32,463 from the funding source 6711269. The sum of $271,228 from funding source 6709899. The sum of $216,457 from the funding source 6709899. The sum of $116,006 from funding source 6708369. And lastly, the sum of $137,710 from funding source 6710849. Again, Mayor, the total construction contract number has not changed, just the distribution of the funding sources is clarified with the change that I've made. So any action taken on that item, please needs to be with the item as just corrected. Thank you.
Madam City Attorney, really quickly, would you like for us to take that item right now out of order just for public transparency so it's not forgotten later?
I think that's a great idea, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, then let's do that. Then let's take item 8A2, which is to award the construction contract to Hayden Building Corporation for the Tempe Municipal Operations Center, GMP number 6, Phase 2 project. And Madam City Attorney, what language would I need to use to ensure that that we're getting the correct vote here for council?
Okay, that the changes that were just made into the record are incorporated in the fiscal impact for item 8A2.
Okay, so what I will do then, if this is acceptable, then I can look for a motion to approve item 8A2 as amended by our city attorney previously.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Garland,
And second by Councilmember Chin.
seconded by Councilmember Chin. Okay, wonderful. Please vote. And Madam Clerk, I vote aye. And that item passes 6-0 with Councilmember Navarro absent. Thank you, Madam City Attorney. Okay, that will then take us all the way back to item 5B, City Manager's reports and announcements. Madam City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It is with a heavy heart that I announce the passing of a member of our City of Tempe family. And you will see a few pictures of Larry Lavelli, a plan reviewer in our Community Development Department. He passed away Saturday, December 30th. Larry started at our city in 1998 as a building inspector in building safety and moved to plan review supporting Tempe for over 25 years. Larry was a veteran, having served in the Army as a combat engineer assigned to the 3rd Infantry Division. Larry loved the outdoors, including hunting, archery, camping, hiking, off-roading, and skiing. Larry loved his job at the city. I had just seen him at the community development holiday party, and he has been here for decades and was still glowing about his job working in community development, and more importantly, working for all our residents that we see here in the audience. My sincere condolences to his original family and to our work family that is having a hard time with Larry's passing, unexpected passing. You will see from the pictures, we asked for pictures. The pictures that were given to us are all of pictures of Larry in our city of Tempe on his off days. So condolences to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. Definitely my sincere condolences, and I'm sure on behalf of the entire council to Larry and his family. It's always tough to lose a member of the family here. We're a very close-knit group of over 1,600 employees here at the City of Tempe, so we are very sorry for his loss and appreciate his service to our city. That takes me to item 6, public appearances. According to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council may only discuss matters listed elsewhere on this agenda for discussion and legal action. The purpose of the open call to the public is to allow individuals to address the City Council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No person shall speak more than once, and there is a limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers present at the podium must state their name and city of residence and provide a speaker card. Members of the public shall refrain from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks and from becoming boisterous while addressing the City Council or while attending the meeting. Speakers will be taken first come, first serve in the order in which the cards are received. Speakers' visual aids and appearances by phone or recordings are not allowed. Council members are prohibited by state law from taking action on, commenting, or discussing a matter raised by a member of the public, even if asked to do so by a member of the public, so long as the subject discussed by the speaker is not listed as a specific agenda item for council's consideration for discussion and legal action. At the conclusion of public appearances, the council may ask the city manager to review a matter or place a matter on a future agenda. This evening, Vice Mayor Adams has all the cards for public appearances, so I will turn it over to her to call the speakers.
Okay, the first speaker we have is Ann Teal.
Hello, I'm Ann Till, Tempe resident, and I just want to talk about vacant homes and vacant lots. It's a problem in Tempe. For example, my neighbor's home, the shingles fly off the roof into the neighborhood when it's windy. The roof ventilation fan flew off across the street into a yard. The roof must be leaking and deteriorating. Will it collapse? This home has been vacant 7 years, and I've been pulling the weeds that entire time. The new owner has owned it over 3 years. It took 2 years to get a permit, and that expires this month. He now has the property fenced and told me that maybe he will just leave it there another 7 years. It seems unlikely that he plans to do anything. He could have rented this 1,800 square foot 4-bedroom home for $2,500 a month, which is $30,000 a year. So he's lost $90,000 on rental income since he's owned it. I don't think he cares. A few more, 1912 East Palmcroft was missing half the roof for 2.5 years. It was torn down 1 year ago, but the foundation and one exterior wall have been there since. 2129 South Loma Vista has had the windows boarded up for about 4 years now. It is gutted on the inside, is shown on Redfin photos. It just sold. 1035 East Westland, it had a house fire in March and it has a substantial damage roof, and there's no building permit yet. A violation has been open against it that long, about 8 months. Neighbors think somebody's living there, or they've said so. Hayden Lane, just east of McClintock, has many messy vacant lots, several fenced, even though there is no sign of construction. I have a list of at least 30 properties so far, and I'm making it bigger, but this is just a small portion of the area north of the 60 that I've looked at. Many of these homes are non-local and seem predatory to the neighborhood. So the questions are, that remain unanswered, how many years can a home remain in dilapidated condition, destroying the neighborhood around it? Why are tickets closed against these properties, and why are some open for more than several months? How many times can a home in this type of condition get an extended building permit or get a new permit? Why can a new building permit be issued or extended when there's so many violations? Can a property be boarded up infinitely? Can a property remain vacant with a slab and possibly also a wall infinitely? And can a property remain chain linked when there is no construction? The city needs to evaluate and change their policies to not let this go on forever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, time's up.
The next speaker I have is Andrew Marwick. Hi, Andrew. Hi.
Yeah, time to go back about a year. Andrew Marwick, Phoenix. Not all sports teams are created equal. Some sports teams are legends, and other teams not so much. It's very interesting to follow what's happening with the Bears, with also Waukegan, Naperville, Aurora joining Arlington Heights and Chicago in this fight to get the Bears out of their silly outdoor stadium where it's a little too cold now to play football. But Coyotes, I guess haven't heard too much about their latest proposals, and they kind of seem to be disappearing in the rearview mirror, so we'll just let them disappear in the rearview mirror at this point. Tempe, getting on to new topics, Tempe has many development decisions to make over the next 25 years. Like tonight, Darlene Plaza is going to be coming up on the agenda, what to do with a 60-year-old shopping center, the houses that the lady before me just talked about. So a lot of these decisions. One thing that Tempe is not going to really be able to decide on over the next 25 years is transit decisions, because certain state legislatures wrote the Prop 400 extension, and they put a lot of restrictions in there. And one of their favorite restrictions was to prohibit any of this new Prop 400 money to be used for streetcars, for light rail, or commuter rail extensions, all of which Tempe either has or needs and needs extended. This locks it out for 25 years, no matter how much density increases, no matter how much traffic increases in Tempe. Tempe is not going to be able to use this money for streetcars. Tempe will have to come up with the money on its own. And without a regional funding source, it's going to be very difficult to get federal money. If Tempe is on their own without the region involved, it's going to be very difficult. So there's plenty of money in the Prop 400 extension for Highway 30 out to Buckeye, for 24 from East Mesa to south of Apache Junction, and even there's a term in there that says once the population of Pinal County reaches a certain level, there's a large amount of funding that will go to a north-south freeway through Pinal County from Apache Junction to Eloy. That's going to do Tempe a lot of good, and Phoenix a lot of good as well. Another thing that they've put in there is speed limit restrictions. For example, on the 60 through Tempe, no matter how much traffic, no matter how many accidents, it's been written in there that the speed limits on the freeways in the Phoenix area cannot be reduced to less than 65 miles an hour. That's ridiculous. If there's a lot of traffic, very heavy traffic develops on that road over the next 10 or 20 years, I mean, there needs to be the speed limit. You need the flexibility to lower the speed limit if conditions require that. This Prop 400 eliminates that flexibility. There's poison pill after poison pill in Proposition 400. And just say, yeah, just say voters should go vote no on Prop 400 later this fall.
Go Lions.
Well, that's fine. Just as long as Green Bay doesn't go anywhere.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
I was going to say, Councilmember Keating, I leave for one night and you're on your pro-Lions thing, you know? Let's see. So thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Thank you to the public speakers. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council under public appearances? I know we have people coming up later for the Donnell Plaza item, but is there anyone who has another item here under public appearances? If so, please get the Vice Mayor's attention now.
Not seeing anyone.
No one? Okay, well then I will go ahead and close that portion of the meeting. And that'll take us to item number 7, consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and will be enacted with one motion by the City Council unless an item is removed for separate consideration. Members of the public may remove public hearing items for separate consideration. Public hearing items are designated as public hearing item at the beginning of the item title. Council members may remove any item for separate consideration or to declare a conflict of interest. If a council member would like to declare a conflict at this time, the city clerk will provide the council member with a disclosure form. If you wish to speak on a public hearing item, please fill out a speaker card and submit your completed card to the city clerk prior to the agenda item coming forward for council discussion. I will call your name when it is your turn for public comment. This evening, the consent agenda is listed as miscellaneous items 7A1 through 7A3, awards of bids and contracts items 7B1 through 7B11, and resolutions items 7C1 through 7C2. Once again, any agenda item designated as public hearing item can be removed by a member of the public for a separate consideration. If anyone would like to have a public hearing item removed, please get the Vice Mayor's attention right now.
Doesn't look like anyone wants anything removed tonight. Mr.
Sounds good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk, were there any comments received from the public wishing to address the City Council on a consent agenda public hearing item?
Nothing on this agenda part.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll look to my council colleagues. Council, are there any agenda items that you'd like to have removed from the consent agenda for separate consideration?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Keating and seconded by Councilmember Hodge. Please vote. And I vote aye, Madam Clerk. And that item passes unanimously, 6-0, with Councilmember Navarro absent. Next up is item 8, the non-consent agenda. All items listed on the non-consent agenda will be considered separately. Agenda items scheduled for introduction and first public hearing will be heard, but will not be voted upon at this meeting. Agenda items scheduled for second public hearing and final adoption will be voted upon tonight. Council members who may have a conflict of interest may abstain from voting on a matter, and the city clerk will provide the council members with a disclosure form at this time. First up, we have 8A, miscellaneous items, bids, contracts, and resolutions. The first item under this section is 8A1, which is to approve the utilization of one-year Omnia Partners cooperative contracts with CDW Government LLC and SHI International Corporation for the purchase of software licensing, technology products, support, and services. Council, are there any comments or discussion?
So moved, Burdetta.
Second.
Been moved by Councilmember Hodge and seconded by Councilmember Keating. Please vote. Madam Clerk, I vote aye. That item passes 6-0 with Councilmember Navarro absent. That will move us to the next section, since we already did 8A2. The next section is ordinances and items for introduction and first hearing. The item under this section will be read and introduced tonight, but no vote will be taken. The second hearing and vote for item 8B1 is scheduled for January 18th, 2024. The only item under this section is 8B1, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance to authorize the conveyance of approximately 3.146 acres of city-owned property within Donnell Plaza, located on the southwest corner of Southern Avenue and Mill Avenue. I'd like to see if our staff would like to come forward and make a brief presentation. I know we have Sam Aerosmith, our Assistant City Attorney, as well as Mike DiDomenico, who's our Economic Development Director. I see Mr. DiDomenico stepping forward first.
I'm very anxious. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Woods and council members. I'm Mike DiDomenico, Director for Economic Development Department. With me tonight presenting will be Josh Rutherford, also with Economic Development, and Sam Aerosmith with the City Attorney's Office. Tonight, we're before you to make a brief presentation where we'll give you some background on item 8B1 on tonight's agenda. After the presentation, we are available for any questions you might have. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mike. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Here tonight, just like Mike said, to give you a brief overview of the Donnell Plaza project. Donnell Plaza originally was developed with a recorded condominium declaration in 1963. And this established the initial 52 lots that were part of the overall development. And over several decades, the condo declaration was amended, lots were sold, businesses came and went, and many lots were never developed, as you can see in one of the photos shown here. The city purchased 14 lots in January of 2011. After the city became an owner, we began acquiring additional lots, 5 in February 2012, as you can see on the timeline before you, to aid in assemblage and to reinvigorate the site. Let me go to one more slide here. All the lots shown in green are city developer owned, and all lots shown in red are non-participating lots at this time. The common area, not shaded, is jointly owned by all property owners. In 2002, and I'll go back to this timeline, you can see 2002 we introduced the fourth RFQ. So you can see in the last 10 years, or the 10 years of the city owning the property, there's been many attempts to redevelop the site. And this, at this time before you, was the fourth RFQ. And we've come a long way since originally purchasing those first few lots. So, and since the issuance and award of the fourth RFQ, City Council approved a resolution last September 7th, 2023, authorizing the city to enter into a development agreement for the city-owned and developer-owned property within the plaza. And the development agreement was signed on November 29th of last year and recorded. In accordance with that resolution, the development agreement called for the city to negotiate a purchase price for the city property based on a formal appraisal. Once the development agreement was signed, that started that 120-day process to negotiate that purchase price. So we're here before council today requesting the passing of ordinance 2024.03, which will authorize the conveyance of city property for the value of $2,750,000 for fair market value as set by that appraisal. This ordinance also authorizes the city manager to sign all documents related to the conveyance of the city property once all conditions required in the development agreement have been met. Why are we doing it this way? Did we lose? No worries. Why are we doing it this way? This is a unique structure for the DA, but the Donnell Plaza presents unique challenges for redevelopment. The development agreement was structured this way to keep the process moving forward and to protect the city's interest. So due to the complexities associated with the site, the development agreement sets out a phased approach to development of the property, and phases may overlap or run simultaneously. So this next slide, you can see, they're not numbered on this slide, but I have them numbered here. So phase one, the assemblage. This is a period of time for the developer to finalize the property boundaries within the Donnell Plaza to the extent possible. In phase two, the condominium reorganization phase. Once the assembly phase is completed, this will determine the final property boundaries of the property to be developed. And the condominium association will be asked to consider reorganization of the declaration to facilitate this development. In the third phase, the transfer of city property, the current ordinance before council today starts this process. And due to the complexities previously described, we are creating lead time to be sure this does not hinder any other phase. So, and the last phase, the planning process. Once all other phases have been completed, this process will start. And just like any other development, that process will determine height, density, and public amenities. And once submitted formally, just like any other development project, the proposed development will go through the full public process, including Development Review Commission hearings and ultimately to council for approval. We understand that this site is very complex and important to the city. This effort is the closest the community has been to bringing the site to its full potential and best use. With that, we leave with any questions.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Council members, are there any questions?
Seeing none, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, then I will go ahead and open up the public hearing portion. Once again, I have the first five commenters here, whatever, who got their comments in before 2 p.m. And after I get through the first five, then the vice mayor will be taking the lead on the remaining ones. But the first speaker I have this evening is virtual, and it's David Sokolowski.
Mr. Sokolowski, you can open up your mic and start speaking.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is David Sokolowski. I live in Tempe. We have to look at sustainable development through the lens of the housing crisis and affordable housing. Tempe will need 20,000 low-income units by 2040, which means Tempe should build 100 units every 30 days. I think building 45 to 65 units per acre at Donnell Plaza is completely reasonable. We're supposed to make choices based on data, and Tempe isn't going to purchase 2,000 acres of land. The housing crisis impacts our city in so many different ways, I can't cover them all. Half the city is cost burdened by rent, and the health impacts are the same as smoking a pack a day. Affordable housing is connected to healthcare, public safety, traffic, employee retention, economic development, and even education. The city wants affordable housing for teachers. There are 5 schools within 1 mile of Donnell Plaza. Low density comes with an opportunity cost to our neighborhoods. Tempe will have to divert resources to the housing crisis that could have been used for parks or art. It will cost the city millions of dollars to purchase land, and then we'll probably have to upzone more properties, especially in South Tempe. The units that would have been built in one location will need to be placed somewhere else. Has anyone ever heard of the waterbed theory? If you push down in one location, it rises in another location nearby. It seems like the one thing that California and Florida can both agree on is that cities have chronic NIMBYism, and states should override local control. In Florida, projects that have 40% affordable housing are allowed to build to the highest density. What if Donnell Plaza had 40% affordable housing and could build to the highest density? In my opinion, every year that cities fail to build affordable housing, it'll be more likely that Arizona could take away local control, because a handful of token projects won't be enough. Neglecting the housing crisis is not an option for the city. We need housing to support up to 83,000 new jobs. We need housing for teachers, firefighters, students, seniors, and the disabled. If Tempe needs to build 100 low-income units every 30 days, how many are you going to include at Donnell Plaza? Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sokolowski. Appreciate it. The next speaker I have is also virtual. It's Coral Denny.
Mayor, I don't see him in the online.
Okay. All right. I will go through these and see if they come back. The next speaker I have is in person. That's Mary Feeney. Please come forward. State your name and place of residence. You have 3 minutes.
She's on her way up.
Okay.
Hi, does that work? Okay. Hi, my name is Mary Feeney. I'm a resident of Phoenix, but I'm here representing the Arizona Roller Derby. Arizona Roller Derby is a community-based skater-led and operated roller derby league. We're a nonprofit organization based here in Tempe with a 20-year history, both here in Tempe and throughout the valley. We support the redevelopment of the Donnell Plaza, and we ask that the city consider incorporating roller derby or skating in the development plan. Roller derby and skating is a multicultural, multiracial, gender-inclusive community. We provide a safe space for LGBTQ youth and adults. We currently provide skate lessons, host international derby events, and run adult and youth sports leagues in various locations around the valley because of the loss of space during the COVID pandemic. We're looking for a central location in a city that supports and welcomes our values and efforts, and Tempe is the city we have the most positive experiences in here in the valley when skating in outdoor spaces and public parks. There are similar initiatives in cities including San Diego, Portland, and Casa Grande just down the road, where the city is invested in providing space for this league in this sport. We would like to be included in and collaborate with the city and developers to find a way to bring economic and social benefit to this project, to the city, and to the neighboring communities. Roller skating brings public health benefits for adults, kids, and local families. By including the nonprofit community and our organization in your planning, you would be supporting marginalized communities and creating a safe space for this niche sport. We'd like to see care and preservation given to a multi-purpose open space, and we would like to be a part of that conversation as the project moves forwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Feeney. Appreciate it. The next speaker I have is Antonio Morales. Please come forward, state your name and place of residence. You have 3 minutes.
Antonio, are you here? Mr. Mayor, I'm not
No.
seeing Antonio in the audience.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Then I will move to the next speaker I have, which is Jacqueline Swan, and she is virtual.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Ms. Swan. Can you please state your name and place of residence? You have 3 minutes.
Yes, Jacqueline Swan. I am a resident of Tempe. Greetings to Mayor and Council. I address you today to serve as an advocate for the Donnell Plaza project. Over the past years as my work as a commissioner, I've attended over 30 different meetings and events for arts and culture, and Donnell Plaza has come up at least half the time. I can say with confidence that our community believes Donnell Plaza is better off left alone than moving forward with any kind of development that would damage the culture and creative safe space that has organically grown there. We cannot take for granted the resilience of counterculture to excuse its abuse by economic development. Venues like Long Long's, Minder Binders, The Sets, the Clubhouse, Sail Inn, and dozens of others have all closed. Local musicians have Yucca and a handful of small establishments to serve as performance space. The decisions made about Donnell Plaza can drive this project to be an early step in what I believe could become a renaissance for a once legendary art, music, and culture scene in Tempe, or at worst, one of the final nails in a coffin for our once accessible local culture. There are many who will say that municipality has no place in the arts. For a city to truly be vibrant as a place where quality of life is worth admiring, it must have a council that makes decisions that protects culture and creative space before compromising art for the sake of profit. My hope as Vice Chair of the City Arts and Culture Commission is that you as leaders recognize what a treasure we have now and how important Donnell Plaza is to our city and protect it at all costs. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Swan. Really appreciate it. Let me do one last quick check to see, Madam Clerk, is Coral Denny in the virtual audience?
No, I do not see him.
Okay, then Vice Mayor, I will turn it over to you for the remainder of the comment cards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have Ann Teal. State your name and place of residence, although we know where you live.
Uh-oh.
All good.
Hi, I'm Ann Till, Tempe resident, talking about Donnell Plaza. And what the earlier speaker said is not true. Residents do want something to happen at Donnell Plaza. I'm a nearby resident, and I'm pretty excited that maybe something will finally be done there. As you can tell, vacant lots and homes are not something I appreciate. But what I would have liked to have seen is the development agreement included in the agenda materials, even if it's not finalized. And I would like to see a hearing where this is presented to the neighborhood to maybe, at least list some things that the neighborhood would like to target, because what happens often is we just receive postcards and the design's already done. So it's so early in Donnell Plaza, it's got a lot of participation from residents so far. So there's opportunity to really get ideas. And I'm not saying that the development agreement is good or bad, just that residents should get a review and comment. And then just some comments on my end. Since this is city property, why can't there be more extensive applications of green building code? Not just a couple spots for electric vehicles and bike racks, but more. There was an article recently about a newer sustainable wood product to use instead of steel on high rises, used by Wright engineers in an apartment complex in another state. So I don't think that's in the version of the green building code we're using yet, but maybe that's an application that, might be cheaper than steel to get more affordable housing. And then I also want to ask why the city property can't be more, or why there can't be maybe a master plan for those four corners if the other properties are willing. For example, in the city of Phoenix, there's the Biltmore, which has an underpass below Camelback connecting to the Esplanade. I don't know if you've been in there, but it's pretty neat. And so imagine connecting all four corners, especially with the kind of plans that they're talking about for inside Donnell Plaza with the arts and culture. So it'd be neat to just consider the whole corner. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Tim Palmer. Please state your name and place of residence.
Yes, my name is Tim Palmer. I'm a longtime Tempe resident and homeowner. I'd like to speak to the idea that I have great concerns about two projects in Tempe. One being the Hayden Flour Mill, which seems to be in a stalled quagmire, in my opinion, and secondly, Donnell Plaza. I have lived in and around Donnell Plaza for 60 years. I'm a current homeowner just slightly north of Donnell Plaza. Over my entire lifetime in Tempe, Donnell Plaza has, in my opinion, been a big zero. It has never really developed into anything very nice, and I understand that there's great passion for certain elements that are currently in Donnell Plaza, but I do have great concerns that what happens at Donnell Plaza is going to be a blueprint for the future in other parts of Tempe, east, west, south, and north. And so there's great community concern about the density and the overall design elements. And already at Mill and Southern, the traffic problems are horrendous, and this will greatly exacerbate that. But I think that it can be executed, and I like the comment by the earlier commenter that this could be a renaissance. And it could really be something special, but the residents of Tempe are watching, they're listening, they have very, important concerns, and there needs to be a really good transparency for how this goes forward. And I just hope that the history of this particular project is instrumental in really bringing Tempe forward in an extremely positive way, not in a negative way. And I think there's the possibility of that if the council doesn't really do their good oversight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Our next speaker is Robert Moore.
And Vice Mayor, can I make a comment after Mr. Moore?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Robert Moore, Tempe, Arizona. So the problem with going later in this segment is you get to listen to other people. So I was going to reference a few things people said. I really liked Ms. Swan's concept, respecting the existing scene, acknowledging as it stands how it serves the community and the important structure beneath that. And I think that's going to be one of the largest challenges for the development team in the city as we move forward. I also like Ann Till's concept. It's very important to recognize the potential, not simply of Donnell Plaza, but of the intersection as a whole. If anyone's familiar with Mill and Southern, it's a pretty cool place. It's very eclectic. It has iconic businesses even beyond Yucca, Zia Records, Casa de Arenoso, Cervantes, and Chris Cervantes. I'm not sure if he's talking tonight, but he's with us this evening, and he actually brings a lot of local heritage with him, generations of mariachi family heritage to our city. And a lot of these things happen to be positioned not only at Donnell Plaza, but at the intersection of Southern and Mill. So when we're thinking about these larger decisions, I appreciate Ann Till's perspective on that. So I just want to riff on those really quickly. The problem is you hear these good ideas and then you want to build on them. But on that point too, and Ms. Swan's point about protecting what's there and honoring the heritage, I think one of the most exciting things, hopeful things about what we're seeing in this development agreement and process is the engagement of Rodney Hugh, owner of Yucca Taproom, obviously, and his leadership within this engagement in vision and conceptualization for a future of the plaza, and that really hasn't happened before. And so I really have a lot of hope for that reason in the way that the city is approaching the process this time. I think a lot of these past ventures have failed because they haven't engaged the community effectively, haven't engaged neighborhoods effectively, and finally, after so many failures, they've realized that to be effective, we have to engage the community, and it's at our own duress and costs that we don't. And so, with that being said, I have hope in what we're seeing in this development agreement that's been presented, and in large fact because of Rodney's leadership and the team that's supporting him. On that point, I'm also very concerned, just simply because of our history for arts and culture. Within the development process, we've seen a lot of examples such as the Idea Center and Tempe Farmer Arts District that have signaled a positive arts and culture vision, but haven't necessarily delivered. So I hope we can start a new chapter along those lines. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Our next speaker we have is Rodney Hugh. Please state your name and place of residence. He is on his way up.
Rodney Hu, Tempe, Arizona. Thank you for joining me today as we embark on a crucial discussion about the future of Daniel Plaza, a place that holds significant importance to the fabric of our community. Firstly, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the council for the recent approval for the development agreement. This marks a pivotal step forward in our collective journey to reshape Daniel Plaza. Yucca Tap Room has been a steadfast presence in this community for almost 5 decades, dedicated to fostering local arts, live music, and community engagement. Currently, we are actively collaborating with development teams to propel the redevelopment forward. The impending acquisition of parcels is the next critical phase, signifying a shift in ownership and laying the groundwork for the future of Daniel Plaza. Once the acquisition is complete, then we and the developers will work with the team and the community to start the zoning process, including public neighborhood meetings. I want to emphasize that the developers understand and appreciate the significance of Yucca Tap Room to the community. The community's input will be involved in the development process. As we navigate this transformative journey, the community's support is not only appreciated, but crucial to our success. We encourage you to actively continue to support our businesses and participate in upcoming public meetings. In conclusion, I want to express my deep appreciation for everybody's support over the last 50 years. Together, let's make Daniel Plaza a testament to the spirit, character, and resilience of Tempe. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, do you have a comment?
Actually, Mr. Moore covered one of the things I was going to say, so I'm good. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our next speaker we have is Phil Yates. Please state your name and place of residence.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Phil Yates, and I'm the president for the Riverside Neighborhood Association. And I'm here because we don't really have a whole lot of answers as to what we want to do at Daniel Plaza. Why was it purchased for $2.75 million? It's a very big area. We want to be included as this process goes forward with regard to what height is, what the density is. We would like to see the arts and the cultures preserved, because we don't have very many places where there are live music, except for maybe down at the lake, to have live music. And Yucca Tap Room is one of those places where people can go, and it's great. The progress of Tempe is inevitable, of course, but with this, there are a whole lot of people that are very, very passionate about how we do progress, where we go. I think it is very important that we be very inclusive and transparent with everybody that is on the city council and any given mayor, that this is something that is very near and dear to all of our hearts. And we should just, as we go forward, please be inclusive with the community representatives such as myself and others, and just progress with caution and listen. Everybody should listen, especially with this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yates. Do we have any other folks that want to come up and speak tonight on this issue? Oh, we do. Did you fill out the cards?
Well, I did it online.
Okay. Whoever wants. Okay, if you did it online, so you can come on up. I will. I will. Please state your name and place of residency.
Hi, my name is Alicia Russell. I'm a Tempe resident, and I'm also a homeowner of over 5 years. So I just want to say that I'm here and I'm standing proudly advocating for the plaza's development at the Danielle Plaza. I want to just say that I believe that this would be a really good source for dedicating, housing for low-income families and for housing seniors. And that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you for all the voices that came here and spoke up. And I hope that you realize that everybody's voice here is important and that we want to prioritize the community and the affordability and the dignity for all. I just hope that we all together build a better future in Tempe that will foster the stability and belonging for all. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another speaker. Please come up and state your name and place of residency.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and Tempe, Arizona, for now 12 years, almost 12 years. I've had the privilege of building a career in healthcare during that time and currently specializing in whole person senior health. Through my work, I've recognized that access to safe, modern, and conveniently located housing plays a crucial role in overall health and well-being, even being a social determinant of health. I would like to express my sincere support for the thoughtful redevelopment of the Danielle Plaza. And I believe that advocating for this project should continue through all legal avenues to make these visions a reality. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other speakers that would like to come up? Yes. Come on up. Did you fill out a speaker card?
I did, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Please state your name and place of residency.
My name is Antonio Morales. I've been a resident of Tempe on and off since 2004. I just wanted to say that I'm not opposed to change. Development is a natural part of growth and improvement of the existing city landscape. There are many areas of Tempe that have been greatly improved over the years, especially with the transit system and the bike paths. And dirt lots that originally had nothing to offer. What I am concerned about is just kind of unconscious development that focuses solely on the revenue it generates without considering the loss of culture and human connection. Over the years, I've witnessed a lot of music venues, collaborative art spaces, and public gathering areas get shut down. They were landmarks that gave Tempe its unique kind of character. And my fear is that this next chapter, that Tempe will kind of like lose another part of its soul, you know? Yucca has been a staple of the music scene for decades. They've also made vast improvements to their space in the last few years. I mean, I remember being there for the first time when it was just one room, a dive bar, and they've expanded to have a tap room and an arcade and stuff. They also kind of, it's an affordable place for everybody to be because they pay their bands through just the sales of their alcohol sales. They don't charge a cover usually. And I think working class people are kind of losing out on places like that to gather. I went there for an indie music festival a month ago, and I ran into a lot of people I hadn't seen since COVID. And I really think that we need these kind of places to still exist. Q and Brew has also been a great place for my friends and I to gather. spent a lot of like birthdays and time shooting pool and just hanging out there. And the art installations there in the parking lot are really incredible. If you haven't seen them, please go check them out. I fear that we might be losing more places for artists to kind of like put up murals and things like that. I think that we can take some examples from Phoenix, especially with how they've developed the Roosevelt District. I think that we can continue to do that too. And all I ask is that, you know, if the space is sold off, that whoever the new developers are, that they consider including stipulations to kind of save some of these existing landmarks instead of tearing them down. I don't think that we need to kind of take away or destroy who we are to make these kind of changes. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other speakers? I think we have one coming up. Please state your name and place of residency.
Hello, my name is Matt Dixon. I am a resident of Tempe. I am an artist, I am an educator, I'm a cyclist, and a gardener, probably in that order. I work at New School for the Arts. I've been there for over 17 years. It's a very unique space. We are also located inside a historic building, if you guys are familiar with Electric Ballroom. And I think we're a good example of something that's been repurposed for the arts and the effect of the community we can have. I kind of believe the school is the heart of the city, but I don't know where these kids are going to go when they graduate, what's affordable to them. College education is not always, you know, an avenue for people in the arts. You know, they talk about Yucca here. It's a punk rock club. What does that mean? What does punk rock mean? It means DIY. It means do it yourself. Like everyone in that bar who works there is talented. They are so talented. They sing, they perform, they DJ. Everyone does something beyond the surface of that place. They're connected to one of the largest arcades in the nation, has one of the largest continuous tournaments, and has put Phoenix on the map. There's so much potential in that space, and I see these empty spaces that are not utilized and could attract attention, could be there, and I could see like massive growth be born out of that. I know we need housing, I know we need other things, but we have those things. We have sporting events, we have restaurants, we have entertainment, we have all those things. Do we need more housing with empty spaces on the bottom? I don't think so. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else wishing to address the mayor and council? Looks like we do. Come on up. State your name and place of residence.
Hi, my name is Ria White, and residence Tempe. I believe that the Danielle Plaza, I feel like we don't need to, if we like address the issue on it and believe like we could do so much with that space, and it just comes down to like the budget and how much as a town or like city we're willing to spend on it. And I feel like if we come down to, you know, spending like a bit higher of a budget or too low, like we gotta, you know, determine if it's gonna be like a profitable income, or if it's just gonna be something public to like let the people of the city enjoy and, you know, really go and spend their time with and having a great time. So I mean, you really have two options to it. Either one's great, but I feel like as long as you don't, you know, break a budget or break the, you know, your pockets too much, I believe it'll come down to be a good decision. So yeah, that's all I have to say today though. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else wishing to address mayor and council? Councilmember Keating.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to thank everyone who came out to speak today to talk about this issue. I just wanted to clarify just kind of what's happening here. First of all, let me acknowledge an iconic business that was left out of Mr. Moore's number of them. Venenzia's Pizza, of course, probably the best pizza in the state of Arizona for my money. And I used to live right behind it on Pebble Beach, and I used to be able to walk my tablet from my house to Venenzia's and still be on my Wi-Fi. So that was always a good time. That was before Wi-Fi was ubiquitous. So I lived on that corner for about 5-6 years. So I think I do agree with what 100% of the commenters had said, that this is an iconic corner in the city of Tempe, and it's so crucially important that it be done right. And I want to point out that one, Yucca Tap Room is not going anywhere. And two, all we're doing tonight is assembling the parcels so we can begin the master planning of that site. So there is no plan yet, that it's still in draft, it's not released, there's nothing like that. That hasn't even started. We're just putting the land together, then we'll go through the process of stakeholder involvement, business involvement, staff, the council, the public, and figuring out, moving forward with a plan with everyone in this room's input that wants to have input, to bring something forward to the mayor and council that the entire city and its residents can be proud of and enjoy. And I have no doubt that we will make sure that we keep the feel and the history of those establishments in whatever happens moving forward. So this is just the first step, and even after we finalize the assemblance of these parcels, we're still a long ways away before anything actually happens on that site, but that will be a very robust process. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that, because I did have residents text me and ask, well, so where's the plan? There isn't a plan yet. We are on day one of many to get Donnell Plaza redeveloped into something new and exciting. And I also do want to comment on something that staff had pointed out. I've been on council 7.5 years now. This is probably the third time that we've thought we were going to get somewhere on this, because it's a complicated, tricky site, and we've never been able to quite get there. So this is the first time in forever that well, I said that 30 times that I've been a part of, but there's councils before me that have been a part of several other attempts. We are really close to doing something special here in the city of Tempe. So I will be supporting this when it finally does come up for a vote. But I just want to make clear that tonight this is just the beginning. This is nowhere near any sort of end mark on this, and we look forward to everyone's participation moving forward. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Garland?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I agree, and thank you so much for the clarification. I was getting a couple emails about that also. I just want to say just really quickly that that I don't think there's a person on this dais up here that doesn't want to save Donnell Plaza and all the culture and arts that we could possibly do there. It's important to all of us, and I just wanted to point that out, and I will be supporting this also.
Thank you. Councilmember Hodge.
It's on. Okay, sorry about that. Well, thank you so much. And as I said, my colleagues have said the same thing that I feel. I just want to let everybody know that I think we forgot. We were talking about let's save Yucca Tap Room. Well, Rodney, who owns it, is sitting right here, and he's telling us that he wants to be a part of it. He's a big part of it. So we should feel comfort to know that the owner of Yucca Tap Room is right here telling us that, I want to be a part of this and I want to do this. So I don't think that with him being here, that is not going anywhere. I'm one of the people who lived on Priest and Southern. I grew up on Priest and Southern right behind Peterson Park. So Yucca Tap Room is like my legacy growing up. I seen that every day going to school going to Tempe High School. So I know exactly what that means and what it means to people. I snuck in when I was 19 years old, when I wasn't supposed to Yucca Tap Room. So I'll tell you that it's special to me and dear to our heart. And I know one thing about us is we all say, we all care about Tempe. It's not going anywhere. And whatever they've decided to do, I think it's going to be a great project for that area. I've watched it grow for a long time. So I'm as my other colleagues, I can't wait to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hodge. Do you want to move to strike that one part? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Nah, I'm honest.
Okay.
I think the statute of limitations is maybe expired on that. I don't know. The chief will have to.
I'm only 25, so I guess,
Oh, that was good. Okay. Mayor, do you have comments, or do you want to proceed?
Yeah, Vice Mayor, thank you. I'll be very, very brief. And a lot of my colleagues have already covered everything that I was going to say, but I just wanted to say I'm very excited about this possibility. I know we still have another hearing on January 18th, excuse me. But a lot of folks have told their stories about the Yucca Tap Room and about Donnell Plaza. The first apartment complex I ever lived in the city of Tempe when I moved to Tempe in June of 2003 was what is now the Tides on Mill, which is the complex directly south of Donnell Plaza. And I spent a lot of time going to the Yucca Tap Room and to Capistrano's when it was still there. I went to Biblos restaurant all the time. Biblos had some of the best chicken wings in the city and some of the most interesting chicken wings of the city. And also the building that's the systems engineering building that's now closed was my chiropractic office. So I've not only, really loved that plaza, but I spent a lot of time and money in that area. And so it's also very important to me in the 21 years that I've lived here in the city of Tempe. So very excited that we're having the opportunity to move forward with the conveyance of this. This is the closest we have ever been to really getting something really big done at Donnell. And I know Rodney Hu and I have been talking about this since I was a first-term council member about at some point we were going to get to a place where we could assemble enough parcels that we could actually really turn this into an incredible community space for residents, adding much needed affordable and workforce housing and preserving the live music and the art culture that's currently at Donnell Plaza. And that really has been the hallmark of that corner. And so I'm very excited about moving forward with this. I know we still have a hearing on January 18th, but the process is only beginning. But I really do agree with what a lot of our residents said this evening. This could really set a really important tone for future development in the city of Tempe because it is a very critically important site to our residents. So I'm looking forward to getting to January 18th, and I definitely am looking forward to supporting it at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chin.
Since we are going way back and talking about Tempe history, I think Rob Moore expects me to say something about Merlin's, which none of you, maybe Phil Yates. Oh, really? Mike D. Okay. Merlin's was in the backside of Donnell Plaza near Manhattan Pizza, which was owned by a family friend also, and also Capistrano's was a great deli. So I think what is very important for people to understand is we're excited about the opportunity. We see some great ideas, and we see a lot of diverse interests, and we see a lot of our passion projects in this building perhaps coming to fruition. What I would ask is patience. This is a very complex piece of land with many owners. And I think that's very important to understand that we've had to work through the legality of all of that. It's still early. For those of you that spoke tonight, thank you, and continue to attend and stay involved and informed. Stay informed of the facts on this project. And if you are supportive now, you're going to be really excited about what will come up. So stay involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chin. Mr. Mayor?
I'm good on my end. Vice Mayor, do you have any comments or should I move forward?
No, you can move forward. Everything's been said that I wanted to hear.
Wonderful. No, thank you so much. Everyone covered it beautifully. And just want to reiterate, the second and final public hearing on this item is scheduled for January 18th, 2024. Okay, the following agenda item here is scheduled for its second vote and final, actually its first vote and final adoption. Item 8C. 1 is to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 20, Section 2-365 regarding membership on the Tempe Veterans Commission. This is also a public hearing item. Is everyone in the audience wishing to address the City Council on this item? If so, please get the Vice Mayor's attention.
I'm not seeing anyone, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will then go ahead and close the public hearing. Council members, any comments or discussion?
Yes, so move.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Hodge.
Second.
Seconded, I think, by Councilmember Keating. I saw his mouth moving there. So Jason Wolf, the technology is wonderful. I could see that from where I'm sitting. Are there any further comments or questions? All right, then please vote. And Madam Clerk, I vote aye. And that item passes 6-0 with Councilmember Navarro absent. That brings us to item number 9, current events, council announcements, and future agenda items. Once again, council members are going to talk about what's going on in their world, but also they can request a future agenda item if they like, but obviously in accordance with the open meeting law, there shouldn't be any discussion on that item other than to clarify the request. This evening, I'm going to begin with Councilmember Garland.
No announcements, Mayor.
Thank you. Let me next turn to Councilmember Hodge.
Is it up? Yeah, okay. So it looks like my Breakfast with Burdetta is on January 13th. It's on the ADU, so please come out. We'll have the city here. We'll answer questions. We'll discuss it. I've heard a lot about people wanting to know more information about it, so I think this is going to be a great topic. So if you know anybody who's interested or have any questions, please come out on January 13th to my Breakfast with Burdetta. It's at the Tempe Library Historical Museum. And we also have now, pre-K is now open again on January 11th for our new academic year 24-25. So please, if anybody you know who needs a child to be registered in school, please let them know that it's on our website, that you can go in and get that taken care of. To start our kids off on the best basis possible, pre-K is very, very necessary. So thank you. Also, one of my favorite things in the world, we have tickets. It's a dance concert on January 9th and at 7 p.m. at the Tempe Center of Arts. So if you would like to come out and show your dance moves, then please come out and do that. And most of all, I want to wish my baby son, Jason Hodge, who just turned 25 years old yesterday, a very, very, very happy birthday. And I love him very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hodge. Next up, I'm going to turn to Councilmember Keating.
No announcements for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, Vice Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of announcements. MLK is January 8th, and the city of Tempe has a long history of celebrating MLK, and we're going to have a sold-out MLK Diversity Award breakfast on Monday morning. So we're really excited about that event and that it's sold out, and so hopefully all of you have your tickets already. My second announcement is both the city of Tempe and Keep Tempe Beautiful are working together, which this is a great partnership, and we're doing a joint effort to clean up our alleys. So I'm very excited that on January 13th from 8 to 11 a.m. at Sella Park, we will be cleaning up the alleys around there. You can do just an hour shift if you want. You can do more if you'd like. It's up to you. But if you want more information about it, please go to keeptempebeautiful.org. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Chin.
No announcements, Mayor.
Thank you so much. And my only announcement was just to say thank you to Vice Mayor Adams for your assistance this evening. Great job, and really appreciate the tag team work and running the meeting this evening. And thank you to all of my colleagues for just doing such an exceptional job as always, as well to our staff and all of the residents who participated and came forward with great comments during public appearances. So I wanted to thank everyone. That brings me to item number 10, which is public appearances. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the City Council? If so, please come forward and state your name and city of residence for the record.
Mr. Mayor, I probably made a mistake, but I would like to do a future agenda item or some follow-up.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I apologize.
Please. Let me do this. Is there anyone for item number 10 for public appearances, Vice Mayor?
Nope, doesn't look like it.
No.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
I will enclose item number 10, and I will go back to council announcements. Vice Mayor Adams.
Okay, one thing is that we got a lot of complaints about the fireworks, and that is a state issue, and the Governor Ducey put in there that we couldn't change it, the cities couldn't change it, but we are going to work with our elected officials on the state level to just look into the firework issue, because I know a lot of animals were scared, people with PTSD, it's very hard on them, so I just wanted to make that announcement. And my second future agenda is around Kiwanis Park. There's been a lot of people parking around the park because apparently the parking lots have been closed in the evenings. So I just want us to look into that as a staff and see what we can do to help those residents with the parking problems around their homes. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate it. All right, given the fact that we've already finished up public appearances, that brings us to item number 11, adjournment. The next regular scheduled city council meeting is on January 18th, 2024. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening and have a great weekend.